Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to the Empowered Educator. Hopefully, you had an amazing week last week and you are ready to gear up for a brand new month. I'm recording this on February 28th, which it will drop on March 1st, and I cannot even believe we're already 2 months in. So much has happened over here at my house in the last 2 months, and you heard all of the things as we've progressed through. But today had an extra special treat, and I felt like it was something I needed more than I realized I needed. I got invited to one of my former teachers' baby showers today, and it was at a park here pretty close to my house, and the weather outside is beautiful. I do apologize for that for those of you who are dealing with cold and snow. But right now in Houston, it's perfect. It's not humid yet. Well, we have our days, but the sun was shining, there was a light breeze, and it was just such a beautiful day. And when I walked up, I saw my former teacher, of course, and her little baby bump. And she was one of my superstar teachers. So it was just so great to see the journey she's been on. I hired her right out of college, and I got to be there when she got Rookie of the Year, and then when she later got Teacher of the Year, and then when she got married, and then now when she's having a baby. So it's kind of one of those heartfelt little times in your life. But also, she's just thriving. She's no longer working at the school that we were at together because a lot of our staff left after I did, but she's thriving in what she's doing. And that just makes me so happy. And so as I walked across the little picnic area where the baby shower was and got to the table, I got to see about 8 of my other former staff members. And it was just such a joyous occasion. Great to catch up. These were my superstar teachers. Two of them I did not hire. They were handed to me, and I was blessed to have them because they were just so amazing. Both of them were classroom teachers, and I moved them up into leadership roles. And then I hired the rest of the ladies that were there, and just made me feel good. But the best part was when I was about to leave. And I could get emotional about this because this is when you know you made a difference as a school leader. My teacher who's having the baby said, "Look at that table. We've all gone through different journeys since you left us, but we're all happy and we're all thriving, and it's because of you." And it just made me feel so good to know that I had an impact on those teachers, that I was able to make a difference for them to where they love what they're doing. And not only that do they love it, but they're making such strides with their students that they're assigned to. Some of them are still in the classroom, some of them are moving into leadership roles, as I mentioned, and it just makes my heart so happy to know that I had that influence. So hopefully one day you'll be able to be in a situation, if you haven't already, where you are somewhere where you just think, oh, this is such a beautiful day. But then somebody tells you about the impact you made, and it makes your entire world. So, yay! Having said all of that, just so excited to now bring my knowledge to you every week because it worked, right? Anywho, this week I am starting into March, as I mentioned, and I'm doing themes this year. So the theme for March is really how do we sustain the work we do without hitting that wall, without burning out, without just surviving? We work in a world that is just hard, and it's hard every day. I think it was J.J. Watt, and of course, I'm a Houston Texans fan, but when he was playing for us, he said the phrase, "The rent is due every day." It's not like you get to just do something great and then coast and soar. Even 30 years in, working the way I do with the students and with the teachers that I coach and mentor, it's every day you put in the work. And some days you feel like, yeah, it made a difference. And some days you go, oh my God, what did I actually do if I did anything today? Right? And it can be so powerful when you do feel like things are going in the right direction, and so defeating when things feel like you're stuck or you wonder, am I really cut out for this? Am I really making a difference? Am I really having an impact? And more importantly, can I really sustain this in a way that makes me happy? Now, I'm going to tell you there are some things that I do believe. I do believe that there are people who were born to be teachers. I believe that there are people who have to work at it a little bit. And then I believe that there might be people out in the world that maybe teaching is just not for them. When I was still married, my in-laws had moved to Houston from Iowa, transitioned once they were retiring. And I remember my ex-father-in-law saying, I think I want to go work at the school. And I just looked at him like, no, 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 that's not going to be a good thing for you. And as a matter of fact, in a very vulnerable moment, I actually hired my ex-mother-in-law when she was my ex-mother-in-law. Don't know what I was doing at the time, but I had to keep her in the office because she was great with greeting people and talking to people and answering phones, but not so great when it came to working with the children. So I do think that there are some of us that just have a knack for this, some of us who can build those skills, and then sometimes people that this is just not their cup of tea. And I don't think that we should ever feel judgy about people like that or make that mean something about ourselves if we're those people. I know I couldn't be a brain surgeon. Maybe I was smart enough to do it. Maybe I had to drive that I could get through all of those years of college and prepping and all of the things, but I can't do blood. And I knew that I was never going to learn how to do blood. So that just wasn't in the cards for me. So having said that, I do think that there are some predispositions that we have. However, if you are serious about this career, one thing that I see happen a lot is that people think, oh, I'm certified. I took the college courses, or I went through the alternative certification program, or even more so, I have my master's degree. I don't need to learn anything more. And I think that that is a detriment to the profession and to your success. Now, I know I'm probably rubbing some feathers raw right now, and I'm sorry about that. But I also knew that even though I had a perfect program when I was becoming a teacher, like I'm telling you, it was pretty amazing. I got into the classroom that first year and I knew nothing. What they taught me in college really did not prepare me for what I was going to do. And years later, when I stepped into the principal role, my beautiful program at the University of Houston, it didn't prepare me for what I needed. I had to continue to build and grow my skills because that's the thing. We get into our prep programs, our certification programs, all of the work that we do to actually get into the position, to get the position. And then once you're in the position, it becomes a completely different ballgame. And we have to continue to learn, and we have to continue to grow, and we have to continue to put ourselves in spaces, networking, relying on our coaches and our mentors, our colleagues, to be able to figure out what works. Because not only are we now solo in these positions, but times change. Just think about the change we've had since COVID. It has been almost 6 years, right? Or 7 since it hit. How much has changed since then? I've lived through a lot of years. I'm going to be 55 this year on my birthday, so you know I've been through a lot. I've been through a lot of change. I was there when we got our first microwave, when cable TV became a thing, when gaming systems became a thing. Yep, I'm that old. And I was there when even the internet became a thing. I remember we had to plug in to dial up for our internet. Also, that old. I went through the whole transition of getting a cell phone. Our first one looked like a VCR. I swear to God, you probably don't even know what a VCR is. But I think in the past 7 years, we have had so much change that if you're not growing and developing yourself, You're not even giving yourself an opportunity to be successful. And yes, I was a school leader. I was a principal and I was a good principal. I did it for 16 years. I took care of my people. But even with our best laid plans, things get in the way. So just for example, working with brand new teachers, that was my specialty. In the last couple of years that I was in the principal role, I had so much on my plate. I went through some other transitions with some staff members that made the work I had to do a little bit more challenging. I couldn't deliver on some of the things that I intended to do. Our campuses do the same thing. We have all these high hopes of this is how we're going to make this happen and this happen and this happen. And we're going to give all of the staff development and it's going to be beautiful and it's going to be amazing and all of the things. But then real life gets in the way. And then here's the sad reality. We get overwhelmed. We get frustrated. We feel stuck. And what's happening right now, especially with social media fueling the fire, we're looking, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? Maybe the grass is greener at another school. And we start hopping around, maybe changing careers, maybe changing campuses, maybe changing something about the work we do. And then we find out, oh, that's not any better because the problem wasn't that specific campus, that specific trajectory of career. The problem was maybe we weren't 100% prepared to do the work we have to do. I know. I'm talking like a mama or maybe a Gigi now. Hopefully, I'm not sounding like your grandma, but I am trying to get a point across to y'all, all of us. We have to continue to learn and grow. If we're feeling like we're overwhelmed and stressed, we need to take that time to reflect. What's causing this? Really? Now, yes, there are campuses with leaders who are making our lives miserable. 100%. Yes, there are policies and mandates across the board. I don't care what state you're in or honestly what country you're in that are making our lives harder. Yes, there are some legit reasons out there where we're thinking maybe this is not the career for me. But I don't want one of those reasons to be I just didn't grow myself professionally. I didn't have the skills to do this hard thing. And so I spent all that time, all that money getting ready for a career in education. And now I have to pivot because it just wasn't working out for me. And it can be detrimental to our self-esteem, our emotional state. You're working hard. You want to be that teacher that your principal comes in and says, hey, we want you back next year. But if you're failing, struggling, not the right fit, and you're not offered a contract, maybe it's just me, but that's pretty devastating. I never wanted my future path to be determined by somebody else. I wanted to take the bulls by the horn, y'all. I wanted to be ensured that I was the best version of me so that I could walk in and get the best job that I could possibly get. And honestly, that's what I did. I've been very happy with my career. Yes, I've had some very, very challenging days and months and years. But because I took the time to step back and reflect and figure out what was going on, and then develop myself based on my needs, that's what did it. I'm not a superstar. I'm not a freak of nature. I'm just a regular person. And I've seen so many excellent educators out there do this same thing. So the question becomes, when you're in the thick of it, how do you keep going so that you can thrive and not just survive? But also, Be able to be clear enough when you step back to reflect that you're not being biased to all of the awful things that you feel are happening, and you can look at it with an objective mind. It's hard. My first year, that drive, 1,114 miles. Yep, I've done that drive a few times. One way, I was able to 100% sit and think about all the awful things that I felt were being done to me driving north to Iowa. And on the drive coming home, with a clear mind and a fresh start, because I had gotten to sleep. I wasn't sick any longer. I actually kicked whatever I was feeling because I was sick for that entire first semester. My daughter was feeling better. She was excited to go back to kindergarten for second semester. And I was able to see clearly. And I was able to look at objectively. And that's when I had to face the hard truth. I needed to save me, not expect everyone else to fix it for me. And I was able to make the plan. And then I went on to serve 4-ish more years in the classroom very successfully and quickly move into leadership roles because that's what I wanted to do. So knowing that that's hard and we don't all get that opportunity to rest and rejuvenate when we're at home. We have children, we have other responsibilities, all of the things. And then you still have to keep moving forward and put on a smile, right? For your kids when they're walking in the room. Because here's the thing. Kimberly, when she was 5, 6, 7, whatever age she was in school, deserved it. And my little baby granddaughter, Sophia, if she walks in your classroom one day, she deserves the best too. So here's what I did. I created a survey, simple on Google Form. I'm all about simple, for free. You do not have to pay for this survey. For you to go through and actually guide you through this reflection. Once you complete the survey, you'll see your responses, right? But more importantly, I'll see your responses. I don't know you. I don't supervise you. I don't coach you or mentor you at this point. Your responses to me don't really mean a whole lot, except I want to continue to have an impact. And so what I am willing to do is to take your survey results, analyze them, and help you develop a plan for your next 6 to 12 months so that you do actually have a path for growth. Now, of course, I'm going to say to you, the Uncommon platform is open and it's going to give you all of the things you need based on that professional development plan, but there's no pressure for that. You get this plan anyway, whether you become one of my clients or not. Now, here's the great thing. I have the form actually pulled up here, and I want to just kind of give you a sneak preview of some of the questions that I ask, because it really does get deep. So I start with the very first one, right into it. How confident are you in designing standards-aligned lessons? Because if you can't plan a lesson, we got to start there, right? Also, I really talk about how we have now become this society where we're given a packaged curriculum. So do you know how to internalize those lessons and actually make them fit your class? I ask about instructional strategies that you are familiar with so that I know, do you need that kind of support? I also ask about your confidence with managing your classroom. This is a big one, right? Because if kids are not listening, they're not learning. And of course, where do you find your challenges? Where do you find your strengths? And then one that I felt was so important to teach teachers how to do, not just do it for them, was how to look at your data and use that to drive your instructional planning. I remember one year I was sitting in front of a pretty new group of teachers, And I said, we're going to look at data and here's how it's going to go. And I had a teacher come to me after and she said, can I talk with you privately? And of course, I had an open door. And she said, I don't even know what data means. We have teachers out there in the world that don't know that, but as principals, we're saying, look at your data, make it drive your instruction, right? So another big component. And then I give you an opportunity to just reflect. Just give me your thoughts. Like, what's your greatest strength? What's an area that you're worried about? What's an area of growth that you would like to see for yourself? What's a problem that you might be having? And then what type of PD platform works best for you? Some people really love a face-to-face, a one-on-one. Some people want to be in a group, and some people just want to read or watch a video. And that's okay. I'm telling you, this survey is gold. And did I mention it's free? That's right. This survey is free. Even if you just use the results, it's powerful. But then you get my analysis to go with it. Reflecting, looking at your own skills, and taking the bull by the horns. That's what this is all about. That's how we get better. And that is how we do hard better. I hope you have an amazing week ahead. Let me know if you'd love to get your hands on that survey. You can comment here on this video. You can reach out to me. I'm on all the socials or you can email me, look me up on Uncommon. Yeah, I'm there. You know how to get me. And this way we can get you on that path so that 2020, 26, 27 becomes your year of amazing. It can be done. All right. Have a great day and week, and I'll see y'all next week right back here on Empowered Educator.